There are so many people that wake up every day without having any idea or any motivation or any reason to actually get out of bed and to make something of their day. They just go through the motions. They don't have strong motivation or strong desire to get anything done. They just do what they are always doing, and they think that it's okay. They think it could be worse. They think it really doesn't matter that much. But in fact, it does really matter. And if you don't have a very strong reason, if there's nothing for you, no reason at all to get up every day and to try and make something of it, no matter what happens, no matter how you feel, then that is something. Wouldn't say there's something wrong with you, but I would say it could have been a lot better, or it could be a lot better. Because if there is something that you really want to do, if there's something that there's nothing stopping you from doing it, it all comes way more easy and it all comes way more natural, and it's also a lot more fun to do. If you have something of which you get out of bed every morning and you actually look forward to it, you want to accomplish it, you want to do it, that gives a way better feeling than always having to drag yourself somewhere, always doing something against your nature, always doing something that you don't really want to do. That's not a fun way to live. And that also used to be me. I was always also in that same situation. I also did a lot of things that didn't really fit my life or didn't really fit the way I feel, weren't really the things that I wanted to do. So every day you wake up, or every day I woke up, every day I just went, or I got through the motions, and it didn't really ever give me any kind of fulfillment. And I basically only found my mission, let's call it a mission, so something that you want to do no matter what. There's nothing stopping you. There are no distractions, there are no obstacles. It's something that you really want to do. That is, in my opinion, the mission. So something bigger than yourself, and not some material item or some materialistic goal, just something that you really deep down want to achieve. And I found that mission only when I basically had nothing left. So for my situation, when I was at rock bottom, that is when, for me, let's say, my fire started. That's when somehow I found a bigger mission, something bigger than myself, that I really wanted to pursue no matter what. And for me, that was something to run away from. So I was 105 kilograms. I had way too much weight, and I really felt terrible. I didn't want to feel that, let's say, pain anymore. I wanted to feel something else. I wanted to experience something else. And somehow, some videos I watched or some people I listened to, it just clicked for me. And I understood that there was way more to gain. And because I got somehow almost terrified of being in that state again. I didn't really, no matter what, didn't want to feel that. I wanted to feel better. I wanted to experience more, and I just wanted to do something different. So for me, I was just looking for things that I could achieve, some things that were, let's say, very difficult for me, or things that I just didn't feel like I could accomplish them. So for example, I signed up for a marathon. I signed up for a triathlon. Still, maybe I don't really like the sport in and of itself, but I just like the achievements. I just like to try and do something that I hadn't done before. Try to do something, or try to achieve something of which that I couldn't achieve. So that was a higher goal for me. That was my mission. My mission wasn't to lose weight. My mission wasn't to finish a marathon or a triathlon. Yes, of course, it isn't also something that I totally don't like, but it isn't really, in fact, the content of it. It is more there's a bigger mission, there's a bigger goal. And that goal for me personally at that moment was just basically running away from something. And maybe a lot of people would say or would argue that it's not always good to run away from something and that you should face it. But in my opinion, running away from something to a certain degree is facing it, because you were at a certain situation or you were in a certain momentum, and now you just try to get away from it. So you're basically fighting through it and trying to get to the other side of it. And that is also something I believe is way more, or is much has a much more stronger motivation, or a much stronger motivator, because something that you want to achieve, something that you want to obtain is always optional. So there is no absolute need to get it. So when something, so let's say you want to buy a car, or you want to buy something, you want to buy something materialistic, but it's always optional. If that difficult moment comes, which always comes, then it's very easy to quit because you don't really need it. But when your back's against the wall and you are absolutely terrified of something which you don't want to experience or don't want to feel, then that's a very or a much stronger motivator, because you don't have a choice. You cannot go anywhere else because you don't want to be in that situation, or something is chasing you which you must conquer. Then there is no other option. You have to go through it, and that's a much more stronger motivation than trying to obtain something optional. And I fully believe that everyone has his or her own mission. Everyone wants to achieve something much higher than themselves, but most people are just turning their back on it because it doesn't look like what society is telling them. Let's say, for example, that you want to live in a forest somewhere. You just want to live in a forest. You don't want to go through, or you don't want to even own your own house. You just want to live somewhere in the forest, and you're fine with that. Maybe you get some fish, whatever it is. You don't need a car, you don't need expensive clothes, you don't need anything of that. You don't need some kind of technologies. You just want to live in that forest. That's all that you want. But because your environment, your family, your friends, maybe whatever it is, people you know from the past, are all trying to gain or all trying to obtain this modern life where they buy a house, where they do this, where they do that. And because of that, you are now basically fighting against your own nature. You're trying to achieve certain goals, some made up quotas that basically no one has ever told you that that is the right way to go. But you turn your back on your own mission, you turn your back on your own goals or your own desires, and you're trying to do or just go with the flow, go where everyone else is going, do what everyone else is doing. And that doesn't give you any kind of fulfillment. But for you, maybe you think your life only is about living free, living in the forest, living in nature. That's all that you want to do. It isn't really about, it's maybe not even about the experience. It's just about being in nature and living through your own identity, which might be more something that has to do with how nature is built. Maybe you just want to go out there and hunt. Maybe you just want to go out there and fish. That is something that deeply aligns with you. But because modern society doesn't tell you that, or doesn't say that, or doesn't promote that, you're turning your back on it. And that is always going to get you back at some point, because it will never fulfill you. And every day you wake up, you have to do something that doesn't align with you. And also living in that forest, living in nature, there are also a lot of things that are very difficult to do, but it is way less difficult for you because you want to do it, because it feels good for you to do it. So yes, maybe you go out and try to gain a fish. Very hard thing to do, but it connects with your nature, it aligns with your nature. Instead of going to an office every day and putting on some clown shoes, might also be a very hard or very difficult thing to do for you, but because it doesn't align with you, because it doesn't align with your mission or your higher goal, it makes it much harder than it should be. And I also totally believe that you, to a certain degree, already know what it is that you think about every day, all day, and something that gives you a very good feeling. Deep down somewhere, we all know what it is, but We also get told that many things aren't realistic. So you cannot live in the forest, that's not realistic. Or you cannot be a firefighter, or whatever it is, because it doesn't bring you any money. It isn't something sophisticated. It isn't something that you can build your future on. But who says so? Who says so? If it's something that you think about every day, if it's something that maybe isn't normal for other people, but you cannot stop thinking about it, and the first thing that comes to your mind, or you feel some kind of fire when you think about it, then I believe that is the thing you should chase. No matter if it brings you any money, no matter if it's not normal, or it goes against modern society. If that is what you're feeling, if that is where you get that fire, if that is where you get that motivation, I honestly believe that you should always pursue it. Because that is your true nature. That might be that higher goal that you have. That might be that higher thing that gives you that motivation every day to come out of bed, to do everything that you can, or everything in your power to obtain it, instead of trying to fight yourself every day, instead of trying to do the things that other people are telling you to do because it fits better in today's world, or fits better in today's society. And if you don't have that mission, if you don't have that higher goal, or you're maybe even fighting yourself against it, then I truly believe that's an absolute shame and an absolute waste of your time, because you only have one life to live. You only have one moment or one option to do so, and to try to obtain it. And why not make it easier and go with your nature? Just go with your nature. If that's what you want to do, then just do it. So if you're maybe not sure what it is, then just ask yourself, if no one could see you, if no one is seeing what you're doing, would you still do it? And if the answer is yes, then you found it. That is the thing that you want to do. Especially if you're totally and fully alone, you have no one to show for. If that is the thing that you want to do, if your answer is yes to that question, then that is the thing that you should do, and that is the thing that you should pursue. And that is my perspective. That is at least how I think about it, and that's how I try to live, and that's how I try to live my own life. Let us know about yours, share them in the comments. If you have any questions also, please share them in the comments. And for now, again, thank you very much for listening.